Christopher Nolan's next film, The Odyssey, is a mythical action epic shot across the world using brand new IMAX film technology. The film brings Homer's foundational saga to IMAX film screens for the first time and opens in theaters everywhere on July 17th, 2026. That is the message we received from the Universal Pictures X, the Everything app. Fuck Elon Musk. The X account of Universal Pictures put that out
Twitter
at 5 p.m. on December 23rd. Shout out to Twitter. They tweeted it out. What does that make you feel? We're not doing a mini review this week. We're reacting to this news, Kody.
Yeah.
How do you think?
I think big news to react to, but interesting. You got the exact timestamps on Twitter. You're gonna get that
5 p.m. Eastern.
Gonna get that framed or something. But I mean, I'm pretty pumped. Obviously, any Nolan movie, upcoming after the success of Oppenheimer, I'm gonna be excited about. And for him to tackle like a crazy story like that, I feel like I'm excited. I was saying this before, like I'm not the biggest fan ever of the Odyssey, but like I enjoyed reading some of it growing up. I didn't read the whole thing, obviously. But I think the story's good, and there's a lot of weird monsters and some fun characters and stuff. So I think the cast is, there's some people I'm excited for, and some I'm not so much. I mean, last time we saw Anne Hathaway, in a Nolan movie, I really didn't enjoy her. So it'll be interesting, but I mean, I'm pretty pumped.
It's interesting. There was a lot of speculation about what this movie would be before it was officially announced, The Odyssey.
Yeah.
They announced the cast first, of course. Matt Damon is the lead of this movie. It's assumed he's playing Odysseus. But they announced the cast, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, Anne Hathaway, like you said. And a lot of people were like, he's making a vampire movie. A lot more people were like, he's making a helicopter movie. He's making like a remake of a 70s
I saw that.
Helicopter cop movie. Are you happy with this being where he landed, or are you kind of disappointed? Are you the guy who's sad there's no helicopter cops?
I'm not disappointed at all. Because my least favorites from him, like, is probably The Dark Knight Rises and like Tenet, like that kind of style. I feel like is similar-ish to maybe like a helicopter, reboot from the 90s or something. So I don't really think that's a strong suit. I think more of like the epic, storytelling stuff is like some of his best stuff. Even though Interstellar is like that, I guess. Like I said, coming off of Oppenheimer, I don't really think I would have been mad at anything. But for him to do something like as epic as the Odyssey, like how can you not be excited about that? I don't know. I'm pumped.
Yeah, the discourse has started, obviously, already. You've got fucking Soups. Everybody loves him Googling what is the Odyssey when the tweet hits. And
that is embarrassing.
I've never sat down and read like Homer's written the Odyssey, but like when I was a kid, I had these Odyssey books that were kind of like a retelling, and I was a really big fan of those. And obviously you've got the Rick Riordan Olympian kind of like young adult wave. Like we're now all the main movie going audience. So like I think it makes a lot of sense. And then also Nolan, the ultimate dead wife guy. The Odyssey is the story of a man, trying to get back to his wife. Like it's a man, separated from his wife for such a long time. Earlier this year in 2024, we did have an adaptation of the Odyssey released, but I think I might have been the only person in America to watch it. Are you familiar with The Return, Kody?
Oh, that was the one we talked about.
Yeah.
So it was the Canadian Odyssey.
It made, are you ready for this? $899,000. It did not crack $1 million at the box office. And this was Ralph Fiennes and
Glory, right?
No. No, The Return.
No, I don't know.
This is not the movie I'm talking about.
Is that Kevin Costner?
It stars Ralph Fiennes as Odysseus and Juliette Binoche as Penelope, his wife.
I think Ralph Fiennes would probably be better casting.
The entire 2-hour movie is just him washing up back on the sea of his homeland. Right. And then because there's all these, that's the whole story. There's all these suitors, all these people that are trying to marry his wife, and he has to like prove himself and reconcile. And then there's obviously the iconic climax of him shooting the bow and arrow through the many axes, which we have to ask the question. The Odyssey is such an epic poem, right? It is a huge work. a long piece of literature. Does he cover the whole thing? Is it a truncated version? How do you tackle something so long?
I think the better question is it a part one?
I don't think so.
I don't want to see that.
So. I don't think we get part one.
I mean, yeah, he's not going to do the whole thing.
The Odyssey Rises?
I don't want to see that. But I mean, I don't think it's going to be, you know, the entire story in one movie. I don't see how you really do that. But I think it'll be the main iconic bits, you know. You got the sirens, you got, you know, the
Cyclops.
The Cyclops is awesome. You got
the
it's like the
and such.
Snake water monster. I think so.
Yeah. Get them all.
I wasn't a big like mythological Greece kid growing up either, so I missed out on
Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. The second book is the one that, you know, most closely mirrors the events of the Odyssey. They kind of, which of course that movie adaptation was notoriously awful. They will be releasing that season here upcoming in 2025.
Are you pumped?
Not really. I liked the first season. Okay, Mina enjoyed it, I think, more than I did, but it's not the best.
You like the movies more?
I'm excited to see Nolan tackle this. I think because of Oppenheimer, everyone's like, no, how's he gonna do this practically? He's gonna summon real sea beast. And it's like, Nolan uses CGI. I don't know why people are acting like he's never used CGI before. And yes, I think there's gonna be ways he, shoots stuff on water, like in real oceans, but I don't think it's necessarily gonna be a CGI-less movie. I think that's silly.
I mean, what's the most CGI he's done though? I feel like it's not that much.
The Dark Knight, Tenet.
I mean, what CGI do you really have in Tenet? It's just them playing the video backwards. I don't think that's really that hard.
I mean, all the cars crashing, all the
probably practical.
They ran a plane into a thing, but like there's so many.
I mean, the weird thing with Interstellar is like the CG it's almost
all
practical.
Of Interstellar.
It's so real. But I think
the entire.
I don't think he's done anything like big monsters or big animals, which I think will be interesting. I do like the memes of him like, you know, Nolan's got to summon, you know, a bunch of demons for this movie or something. I think that's funny, but I think it will be interesting, like how he deals with the CGI. Even like something, you know, that we saw recently, Wicked, where I just don't like the CGI look of the animals at all. It's hard to get something realistic and kind of keep the movie as serious with a bunch of CGI creatures and stuff. I
definitely think he's capable of keeping it grounded. Do you think Damon? Do you think Damon is capable of carrying a role like this?
I think he's a better candidate than Tom Holland to do it.
So. Well, yeah, but Tom Holland's obviously. What if it had been, you know, Hugh Jackman? What if he had gone back to the fucking well? What if it had been Christian Bale? What if it had been
or
Leonardo DiCaprio? Like I love Damon, and I'm glad, you know, Nolan's giving him a shot post Oppenheimer to get a lead one of his movies, but I'm a little sad we're not getting the Jackman version of this, honestly.
I mean, even Cillian could have been good in that.
Yeah, he got his Oscar. He's off, you know, making Peaky Blinders.
Can't blame him.
The movie
with Barry Keoghan. It makes sense for Damon to be the guy. I feel like he's worked with him a couple times before. I mean, is he gonna get jacked? I don't know.
Well, he's gotta get skinny. He's gotta get like
He's kind of old. He's old, so I don't know.
It's The Martian. He's done his own Odyssey thing across.
I probably really haven't liked the Matt Damon starring movie since The Martian. Honestly, I don't think he's had a very good run lately.
I'm a big Stillwater head, so
you do love that. Still haven't seen it, so can't judge. But probably will never see it because it looks garbage. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for Damon, but like you said, if it was one of those other guys you mentioned, I would definitely be more excited.
This movie is going to be a huge hit. He's the most bankable name as an entity. It's kind of crazy that Christopher Nolan has become a director that people. No, Christopher Nolan. Like people go out to see his movies. It's evident with the re-release of Interstellar just how much he means. He's coming off the Best Picture win. This is probably the blankest check he's ever gotten in his career, and I think I did see it's going to be his highest budget ever.
Highest budget, highest paid, all the above. So I think he deserves it. I mean, we've talked about him a ton before on the pod, and he's definitely one of my favorites. So I like it when they kind of get up to that level where they can do whatever they want, just have total creative control, which again, is kind of, I feel like, what he had for Interstellar a little bit. So maybe we'll be.
It's crazy to get the double of that.
But just get a good writer. I'm sure his brother's going to write it with him. But get somebody else in the writing room to, check off, Chris every now and again. So I think he's got some good ideas and some really bad sometimes. So I'm pumped, but it should be a really good year of movies as well.
I mean, 2026, it's going to be crazy.
It's going to be exact.
Dune 3.
Yep.
We've got a new Steven Spielberg movie that I think people aren't really talking about. Steven Spielberg UFO movie starring Josh O'Connor.
Bad notes and twisters, though. So he's out.
Yeah. We're a little low on our KHAP, but
fuck you, Spielberg.
Jordan Peele. We've got new Jordan Peele.
Finally.
And of course, Nolan. I think it's going to be a great year. Of course, 2025, I'm looking forward to as well. But in this episode, Kody, we're going to take a look back at what we watched in 2024.
True. I think I'll make a prediction to say 2025 will be better than 2024.
I think so as well. 2024 for me was a little bit of a low year. We're going to do our best of episode here soon. But
midness, but we'll get into it.
Hello and welcome to Kody and Korbin Have a Podcast, the show where two former roommates talk about what they watched in 2024. We're doing a KHAP chat episode again. As always, I'm your host, Korbin Zvokel, and I'm joined by my co-host, Kody Webb. Kody, what's going on, man?
We are back. We're at the end of the year. I think it's going to be a really fun one, kind of bouncing all around. I'm doing great, man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Really excited to kind of just reminisce about what we watched this year. It's the pleasure of the Letterboxd account. You can kind of just look back and see what it was that we kind of got into. We'll probably break down like maybe stats, do the whole Letterboxd wrap thing a little bit later down.
That'll be fun.
But right now, I think we just, let's just talk about some movies that we were into this year. The first thing I wanted to start this conversation with was just, how do you pick a movie to watch? Like, what is your driving force in watching a movie?
I mean, that's a great question for me because I don't really have an answer for that, if I'm being honest. I think for me, it is random. I think pretty much. If something is going on in my life and it reminds me of a movie that I haven't seen for a while, I'll probably watch it.
Big nostalgia guy.
I am. But it's also a thing too, if like I've seen other movies in this franchise or relate to other movies, and I want to kind of finish the trilogy or whatever on Letterboxd. Like that's another reason. Or I'm making a list on Letterboxd of like Nolan movies, so I want to rewatch all the Nolan movies. It really is random for me. I think I think a lot of other people have more structure to the way they choose this. Honestly, if there's nothing on my watch list that's standing out to me as well, I'll just go surf on like Max or Netflix and just like pick one of the random movies that pops up. And I'm like, hey, I haven't seen that for a while. So I don't have a great answer, I don't think. But do you have more of a structured system, would you say?
It's all over the place. And then the availability of things is obviously, I think, always there. I see a ton of movies in theaters. So like, if I have a day off, what can I see on this day? What's playing? What do the New York City theaters have to offer to me on any given day? So that'll determine it a lot. But I also get into like weird hyperfixations of like self-created franchises or maybe specific franchises. But so, I watch like 3 Wizard of Oz movies, or I watch like a lot of 9/11 movies, or like there's these little maybe we'll come across some specific things and we'll talk about why. I just wanted to do that today, and we're gonna kind of go through our letterboxes just with random dates, random holidays. What were we watching and why? Let's start with your birthday, Kody. Did you watch anything on your birthday?
Oh wow. Okay, so my birthday is May 27th. I'm sure everybody knew that already, but I'll just state it again. It's a great birthday month as well. I mean, such nice weather. Let me see if I watched anything. I want to say one thing about Letterboxd off the bat too, because I feel like this is low key, just an ad for them. But I actually just became a patron member today. So
you waited until after the sale. They just had a sale.
Exactly. I missed the Black Friday. It was actually renewing my pro, and I was like, it's not that much more. The gripe I have with it though, and if you're watching this in video form, my background now is like the image I want as like the background for my Letterboxd page, but it's not like one of the images that shows up in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So pretty pissed about that. I think we needed something else where we can just add, images. Maybe there is something I haven't explored it too much, but I think it's one of the coolest shots ever. So shout out to that. But anyways, my birthday, I actually watched The Way, Way Back, which I really, really love that movie. I gave it 4 stars, and it was actually the second time I believe I'd watched it this year. But looking back at it, yeah, I mean, I think that's a really fun pick for me on my birthday. I was probably just going back and being like, what's a movie that I really enjoy? that, it would be fun to rewatch on my birthday. And that one, I mean, like I was saying, I think my birthday's in a cool spot in the summer. That's like such a great summer vibes movie. Just with, him hanging out at the water park the entire time. I'm a big Sam Rockwell guy. That's kind of just weirdly a comfort movie for me, especially what the kid was going through, on summer vacation where, his parents are newly divorced and he's dealing with, Steve Carell just being an absolute dickhead of a stepdad. So yeah, just one of my faves. And I think that is really awesome. I watched it on my birthday, actually. I can't think of a better movie to pick.
I'm I think a known way back hater, not
You
a
are
huge
a hater.
fan. Mina, I think it's in her 4 faves on her Letterboxd page, but
Good taste.
Jackson, also another friend. I mean, we know a lot of way back lovers. And I'm proud of you for watching that on your birthday. That's a good choice. You gotta watch something you'll enjoy, and I appreciate that about you, Kody.
Thanks.
I also watched. I was putting in the work. I was grinding some tape on your birthday.
Okay.
Here are the 3 flicks I watched on my birthday. Actually, but first, how many stars for the way back? And did you give it a review?
I did give it 4 stars, and my review was Steve Carell has never been more punchable. Got 3 likes, so relatable.
Any liked reviews you want to share? Anything good?
I did like Jackson's. He said, I hate how much I resonate with this movie. And then in all caps, therapy. So shout out to our compadre. Shout out to Mina as well, because yeah, I think being a fan of the way back, it's a fun group. So good pick, good flick for sure.
Sam Rockwell just I don't. It's bad vibes. I'm not. I don't like what's happening.
He's so lovable though. He's so lovable.
Here are the 3 movies I watched. First up was Driveway Dolls, the Ethan Coen and Trisha Cook co-produced, co-written, and directed movie that stars Margaret Qualley and Geraldine. This one, Nathan, as well as Beanie Feldstein, just not great. Not a stellar time in the movies. Kind of trying to attempt to be kind of like a Southern noir in a certain sort of way, I guess. Pedro Pascal and Matt Damon both make small appearances that are not great. I wouldn't recommend this watch. The humor just kind of feels off for most of the time. I think it's some book smart energy adjacent, some alums for you, B. Feldstein, of course.
Yeah.
But I didn't love this one. Mina and I watched it, and of course it was a draft movie as well. Did you ever check that one out?
I haven't yet, but I always forget that Beanie is in it. So that is definitely one I want to check out just for her filmography. How many stars did you give it?
2 stars for Driveway Dolls. So.
Oh wow, that's pretty low.
And then I rewatched Donnie Darko, and I watched that with Mina for the first time. Just a strange movie. I mean, I'm a big Jake Gyllenhaal guy, and you're notably not a Jake Gyllenhaal guy. We've thought about it. This is just kind of a weird child performance from him. It is fun because Maggie gets to play his sister, which is a cool. They have a great energy and like kind of dynamic back and forth. But having seen this movie now, I think 3 times in my life, I still couldn't really tell you what happens in it.
Yeah, I think I have seen it once, but it was a long time ago. And plot wise, I couldn't pull much out other than, Big Bunny. So the Gyllenhaal connection is really cool though.
Vote for Dukakis. I think that's the big thing they say. And then the last one was Scream. I mean, just an all-time 5 stars.
Wow.
Donnie Darko 3 stars, Scream 5 stars. Another rewatch. Just needed to end the day on something good. And also notably, I watched Donnie Darko on Blu-ray. I have a copy of it. And I was like, I also want to watch another thing on DVD tonight. Meaning you can pick anything. She chose Scream as a rewatch. And I think it was the 3rd time I'd watched Scream since I'd seen it like 2 years ago. And it's like every time I rewatch it, I think I gain more appreciation for it just because I've continued to watch more horror movies and I've seen more of the Scream franchise. I know you went down a Scream rabbit hole this year a little bit. You haven't fully finished yet, have you?
No, I believe I have. It took me a while, to get to the requel reboots.
Revelori.
Yeah, right. Shout out Revelori. Good guy. But I love the first Scream. I love the whole franchise as a whole, but that first one is by far my favorite, and seems like a good one as well to kind of just wash the bad taste out of your mouth of a couple mid movies. So I really love that. Good pick from Mina there too. But maybe that'll be one I watch on my birthday next year because that'd be a good ass pick too.
All right, now let's jump over to our first holiday, and we're gonna talk about Thanksgiving. That's the holiday you selected, Kody. So, did you watch anything on Thanksgiving? Was there a Thanksgiving watch this year? Which what day even was Thanksgiving?
Was it the 26th? No, it was the 24th, I think.
November 28th was
That
Thanksgiving.
was close. I did watch a movie. So that was not too long ago, obviously, from where we're recording here. And I rewatched the flick Twisters for the first time since I'd seen it in
self-promo.
theaters. Yeah. So if you haven't checked out our episode on that, obviously go there and get my full thoughts. But yeah, this was an interesting experience as well because it was, on my couch instead of being in the theater, which I thought was pretty strange. Definitely a theater preference movie for me. Great flick. I mean, like I said, I was in the episode. I love this movie personally. And I also just bought it on DVD. So I got the Twisters combo Black Friday deal. So shout out. But so I'll be rewatching again soon. But yeah, I mean, Thanksgiving movie wise, I feel like it's okay vibes. What's Twister season really? Like summer-ish, I guess. More fall. I don't know. When do tornadoes even happen?
You can tell we didn't live in Tornado Alley. I think it is a summer thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like it's got Thanksgiving vibes. I mean, you got leaves flying around.
Tornadoes are during the summer.
Summertime is what Mina says. So.
She's more of the expert. Shout out Nebraska. But yeah, I think it's got fall vibes regardless. And again, I feel like for a day like Thanksgiving where, you want to be happy and you want to be thankful of what you love. This is a great pick for me because I love this movie.
Yeah, a little bit of a throwback, just family nostalgia. What did you watch as a childhood? I like that you picked up the double feature pack there of both movies. I own the first Twisters or the first Twister, but I don't have Twisters. Yeah, it's a confusing name convention, but I guess technically it should just be Twister 3 with the if they're doing the alien thing, it's got to be what is that called? It's not an exponent. What's it? Subscript? There you go.
Sure. That was my review too. So when are we getting Twisters 3?
Twisters.
Twisters. I mean, they got to do something with the 3, but they probably won't make it. So
Mina and I chose to watch Moana, the original Moana, on Thanksgiving in preparation, of course, to see Moana 2, because I had never seen Moana ever.
People are gonna be mad about that, probably. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I was 16 when it came out, and I just wasn't going to the theater and seeing like the new Disney movies.
Too cool.
I just wasn't, yeah, it was too cool for it. I don't know what to tell you. I am now. I saw Moana 2 in theaters. Wouldn't recommend it because it's not a good movie, but I enjoyed the first Moana. I am not a Lin-Manuel Miranda fan whatsoever, but I think this is the best thing he's made.
Oh wow, okay. What do you think about the music? Yeah, I feel like the music's good, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think the music, like I don't like Hamilton, In the Heights is whatever.
Good costumes.
The new Little Mermaid music. I haven't seen Mufasa yet, so maybe I will eat my words, but usually pretty allergic to Lin.
That's right. What do you think about the big crab guy though? Or is he a lobster? I don't know what he is.
I mean, he's a crab. He doesn't have a Jamaican accent, so that's the whole joke, right?
I really dislike him.
I think he's fine. I think it's like a solid movie. It has fun music. Like The Rock is also not totally insufferable.
Yeah, he can sing a little bit, I guess, but a lot of auto-tune, it seems like.
I'm not saying like he doesn't have to sing great. It's gonna be worse in the live action when he's.
No, I mean, he looks terrible from the set photos, but I don't know. It's just Disney has an infatuation with live action, I think, for some reason. But I'm not excited for that. Maybe I'll check out the second one. Is the music in the second one at least good or not? Really?
No, that's a big problem. It's rather forgettable.
Does the crowd come back?
I think there's a cameo appearance, but he's not having post-credit scene, maybe.
Spoiler alert. Wow, dang.
Watch out. Well, the movie will have been well out at this point of this airing. So Moana 3.5 stars.
Okay. That's actually pretty good for an animated flick.
Yeah, I did enjoy it for a nice little post ham, watch.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I feel like a musical is a good choice for like a post big meal. You kind of just sit there, you vibe. You're not going anywhere, so you might as well enjoy it. So I like that pick.
My holiday, July 4th, Kody. Did you tune in and watch anything on Independence Day? Did you watch Independence Day? I got one July 4th watch, so
I have one as well. Go ahead.
Despicable Me 3.
Oh, Jesus. Way to celebrate America, right?
Notably, again, in preparation for Despicable Me 4, I had seen Despicable Me 1, I had seen Despicable Me 2, had never seen Despicable Me 3. Have you seen this one?
The fourth one?
No, have you seen Despicable Me 3?
I have not seen 3, no.
It's
I think it's his twin brother or some crap, right?
Yeah, well, it's an 80s child star is
Oh,
the
right.
bad
It's
guy. And
Michael Jackson music.
It's Trey Parker is the bad guy.
I have not seen that one. I have seen 1, 2, and 4 though, which is funny. Neither of us have seen 3, but
yeah, it's 3. I gave 2.5 stars.
oh, you did watch 3. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I watched 3 in preparation
Before
for 4.
4. Okay.
Yes, I did see 4 as well, which I did like a little bit more.
But 3, you think is the worst of the franchise? Is it worse than the Minions movies?
If I were to rate all the Despicable Me's, I don't automatically have a list, but I'll just hit you. I have not rewatched Despicable Me 1 or 2.
It's decent. I think the first 2 are actually not bad.
I gave Despicable Me 4 3 stars, and I gave
that's way too high.
What did you watch on July 4th?
So I mean, you went pretty patriotic. You went with America's franchise. I went with more of color correlation, I think. I watched the first Deadpool movie on July 4th this year, which I think is really fun. Obviously, the whole red, he is the red of the red, white, and blue. I mean, who's more American than Deadpool? Just quipping, eating chimichangas.
Ryan Reynolds, Canadian, I believe.
Good point. But yeah, I really enjoy that first movie as well. Just to gripe about that, I don't know why. I feel like with the Deadpool franchise, everybody forgets like how good the first Deadpool actually was. Deadpool 2, I think, was a step down, but the first one, it takes like such a fun character, and it's before you get tired of like Ryan Reynolds quippiness, which I mean he's been quippy his whole career, I guess, a little bit, but I think this is the pinnacle of that, of him making fun of himself, him making fun of everybody around him. Yes, there's jokes that don't hit. I'm not saying it's a 5-star movie, but I think the action is awesome. The facts that they had the balls to do this R-rated, I think it's really cool from Fox, and it made a boatload of cash, which again maybe is not a good thing because we're going to get a lot of Deadpool in the MCU, which I don't know if that's going to be necessarily good, but everything else past this is down a peg. I think Deadpool 1 reigns supreme for Deadpool flicks.
It was kind of like a flash in the pan moment. Just overall, I don't like that first Deadpool movie as much as that's honestly my least favorite one, which I know is maybe a hot take. Not that I like love any of them, but I think it's solid. It's a fun movie for sure.
It's decent. I mean, it's a comic book movie,
I don't like the way it's told in the whole
really?
Like half flashback storyteller.
Every movie does that. Every movie does that.
I know, but it's just it feels especially tired in that one, honestly.
What about the opening credits, or they're calling the director a douchebag? I mean, that's great. That's good stuff.
I mean, yeah, Sean Levy didn't have the fucking balls to do that himself. So
no, of course not. Sean Levy sucks.
Disney.
But I gave it a review.
Scary.
No, we don't like Bobby. I gave it a review. I just said needed more chimichangas. 4 stars. July 4th. So
it's fair.
Shout out. I don't know. I think Despicable Me is probably the more patriotic franchise, even though Deadpool has the red.
Yeah, I think we've talked about how like the Minions are kind of French coded and they've got the whole like illumination background, but they are technically like it's an American co-venture as well. And I feel like they're the 21st century, like they're one of the most popular creations there.
Yeah. And Gru, I mean, he's not American, I guess, either, right? He's got some weird accent, but it's still America's franchise.
That's America, man. That's America, dude.
True.
It's a land of immigrants. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
Melting pot, baby. Love it.
Thanks for listening to the episode. You can follow the rest of our happenings over here at Kody and Korbin Have a Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at KHAP Podcasts, KHAPODCAST. Please follow us on Spotify, give us a rating, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow along for more.
All right. Your holiday.
Halloween is my second holiday.
Spooky time. What are we watching?
Spooky season. I think it was something spooky here. Let me see. So obviously this was the culmination of Cagetober, which I had a lot of fun with. And on October 31st, I checked out for the first time Poltergeist, um, which I think this is a good one to talk about too, because I was trying to binge.
You were trying to cage Tober.
Yeah, I was trying to cage binge um, at the very end, and I had this and Talk to Me left. And I was like, which one more, feels a bit more Halloweeny? So I went with Poltergeist, which is, I think, a good pick for Halloween for me, just because I associate a lot of my Halloween stuff like with family, and that is definitely what this movie is surrounding. Obviously, executive produced, written, produced, all of the above. I'm sure he's behind the camera too, by Mr. Spielberg. So definitely got a lot of his vibes. I really think the couple relationship is really good in this too. Just like the chemistry. It's Craig T. Nelson who has done some TV stuff that I like, and then Jo Beth Williams, who I don't think I've seen a ton from her in general, but from everything I've seen from those two, and it's very limited, it's definitely my favorite from them because I think they are really likable. Obviously, the horror as well. Some of the effects don't stand up as well as you would want, but it's still pretty scary and still keeps you on your toes. I think the opening is really awesome. Maybe the second act's a little bit slow too, where you're kind of figuring out why everything is happening. I think that's important, but just drags on a little bit. And then the third act, I think specifically is really, really good too. So for a horror movie, I mean, you get the heart, you get the scariness. I like this pick a lot for Halloween. I don't know if I'll repeat it next year, but maybe down the road. I think this would be always a fun pick for Halloween.
Yeah, I watched this one for the first time as well too, and I do think that like family dynamic is really solid, and I think that's what Spielberg can add in there as well. But directed by Toby Hooper, who master of horror in his own right.
I think the inspiration of Cagetober too, right? Is it
Tobe? Yeah. Going back to Hooptober.
Hooptober. That's what. Shut up, Hooptober. But I gave it 4 stars, and I said didn't realize Spielberg had this deep of a horror bag. So shout out to Stevie, man. I mean, other than Jaws, I guess I don't think like horror wise he's really done a ton.
Parts of Jurassic Park, I guess.
Yeah. Did he direct War of the Worlds? I think he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's got some elements too. So he dabbles, but I think this is his definitely, other than Jaws, his strongest horror kind of flick in my eyes.
Yeah. He did The Post. That was pretty scary.
He did. Did he do The Terminal? No, I don't think he did.
Yeah.
Did he? Jesus.
Bad movie.
He did Tintin, Warhorse. I can name a lot of mid 2000s.
I loved a good Warhorse, man. I love a Warhorse.
That was an Oscar bait at the time, man. I thought that was going to win everyone, but
didn't quite get there. Sadly,
it was close.
I watched a Park Chan-wook film called Thirst, which
that's right.
I remember real strange movie starring Song Kang-ho, who probably most notably being a huge Bong Joon-ho collaborator, is the star of Parasite. Also, like Memories of Murder, and he's in Snowpiercer in The Host.
Yeah.
Also has been in a ton of Park Chan-wook films as well. This is like a vampire movie. It's kind of more of like it's a little more sci-fi. I don't know. There's basically like an illness that happens. They're trying to like test ways to find a cure, and they like give this dude vampire blood, or like give him a transfusion, and then it cures him from this virus, but then he becomes a vampire and he wants to drink people's blood, which obviously problems ensue from there. He's also a Catholic priest, so there's the religious aspect that kind of goes in there. He has this blind guy at a monastery who's talking to him. There's also then a relationship he has with a woman. I've watched a few Park Chan-wook's films this year and last year. So far, I don't think I found one where the ending leaves you feeling happy or good. He just makes you like see the darker side of humanity a lot of times. And even if like the heroes maybe end up in getting what they want, it still kind of makes you feel sick to your stomach or unhappy. This one isn't quite as bad as some of the other, like Old Boy or Lady Vengeance, but it's still, kind of a tough watch. There are some really cool visuals here. Specifically, the thing that really stuck with me is like the bathroom of the apartment that he has is just like this like very stark, like all white. And then they like do this weird like redecorate, like he paints everything. And then when the blood gets splashed on it, it's just like this bright red. So there's like some cool visual stuff. It's kind of like a sexy movie. You've got, girl leather vampire stuff, walking through the night. It's a good watch. I would recommend it if you want to get into genre, like if you want to watch an international film that's in genre. I think it's a fun one. And of course, Sung Kang Ho is, like I said, a very underrated guy. We've talked about it in the past.
Yeah, agreed there. And sounds very interesting. It's kind of like, Children of Men meets like Morbius, or I guess Blade, I think is a better comparison based off what you said. But interesting combo. I mean, do you think it's a good like Halloween movie as well?
It's not really scary, but like it's a vampire movie, and it definitely has like these gothic kind of horrific elements to it. There's definitely some there's a scene, I don't want to spoil too much, where early on where he kind of like pukes up blood on like this flute that he's playing, and it's like this very visceral thing. It's it's good spooky stuff, man. Halloween time. I gave it how many stars did I give it? 4 stars. Not my favorite Park Chan-wook movie though. Comes in number 3 so far of the ones I've seen.
Nice.
My next holiday is Easter. And of course that is March 31st. I did have that locked and loaded.
Really? I thought it was in April for some reason.
This year, March 31st. Do you know how they decide on Easter?
The groundhogs?
It's like the first Sunday after the first full moon of springtime, or something like that. It has to do with the first full moon of spring.
About the moon, eh?
Yeah.
It's like crazy. That is weird. I mean,
it also like correlates obviously with Passover, and it really dates back,
Is the church into like, what's the crap called? The Sagittarius and Gemini, what's that called?
Big zodiac heads.
Yeah, is the church like big into the zodiacs? That's kind of strange, right?
You tell me, man. Sounds like a secret cabal.
I wouldn't know.
What are you trying to say, Kody? What did you watch anything on March 31st? Did you watch anything on Easter? I know you were celebrating hard, but
I did actually watch something on March 31st. Easter's a fun holiday. I think you get your food, you get your candy, can go your family, I think it's fun. But March 31st for me this year, I actually watched Little Women for the first time. Greta Gerwig obviously directed, starring Saoirse Ronan, Emma Watson. I really enjoyed their work. I do like this movie a lot. I feel like it's hard because Greta Gerwig, I think, is just such a good actor. Oh, shout out Florence Pugh as well. Can't forget her. And also like Emma Watson is not
the whole cast.
Movies. The whole Bob Odenkirk. The girl from Jurassic Park.
Timmy Chalamet.
Yeah, Timmy. He's in every Greta Gerwig movie too. It feels like, but I think really good overall. I think this may be like one of the last Greta Gerwig movies, other than like her like super small indie stuff, which I've seen some of. But it was one of the last ones that I had seen from her, so it was definitely anticipated for me as well. And it does have like fun Easter vibes. Obviously, it's just about growing up. These little women.
It's a great Easter watch, I feel like.
Yeah, getting their agency in the world. Of course, Saoirse, just trying to become an accomplished writer in a time where, women aren't really given that many opportunities. So really empowering, really good speeches and stuff from, the girl from Star Wars. What's her name, bro? I was thinking Judi Dench, Laura Dern. What is wrong with me today? Judi Dench. Yeah, that's weird. But Laura Dern's really good in this too. But yeah, I would definitely recommend this. Like I said, maybe not my favorite, Greta Gerwig movie, but still really good. I gave it 4 stars in my review, which I really like too. I love that we shouted this one out. I said Odenkirk has elite Civil War sideburns. If you haven't seen that movie, just go look up Bob Odenkirk in it, because costume-wise, I think they nailed it. So high recommendation for me, for sure.
I think it's such a cool piece of adaptation, and like the twist that the ending of the movie, and the way that it kind of makes it about itself, and the way this is a piece of writing from the character's perspective, and I think it's a cool twist on it, and turn on, and making a movie out of this. And I love Greta Gerwig. Haven't watched Little Women in a while, since I got a Letterboxd account, but she's 3 for 3. She hasn't made a bad movie.
Yeah. I think I do like it more than Barbie, actually. I forget. Dude, I always feel like I think that she directed Frances Ha as well. Just because obviously
Co-written.
she's the main. I mean, she is Frances Ha, obviously. But and also it always reminds me of like in that movie where the opening is, Frances running through the streets. Maybe it's not the opening, but the opening of Little Women is definitely Saoirse like running through the streets too. It's always that connection of, for some reason in Greta Gerwig movies, somebody's always like running, which I think is really fun. But yeah, Lady Bird is elite. Go check our episode on that. Barbie's fun. Go check our episode on that. Maybe we'll do Little Women down the road. I am pumped for the Narnia movies though.
Rock and roll Narnia, man.
So I don't know what that means for Amy Pascal. Kind of worrying. But with Greta behind the helm, I'm on board, and I did read the majority of the books growing up, so kind of a nostalgia thing.
You're a big
for me
Narnia
too.
guy.
Yeah,
That'll be your chance to do some literature corner in an episode.
I might have to reread because it's been a little bit, but I'll bring it. I'll bring it for sure.
I definitely think a Little Women episode is down the road. There's a lot to get down and examine there. The Florence Pugh 12-year-old thing. I don't know. It right. Works. She's a great actress. I'll give her that. She gives it her heart, but yeah.
She's good in it, I think, but not put in the best spot, I don't think. But
it's a tough. Yeah, I mean, it's just a tough role. They should just filmed it Linklater style and gotten a real 12-year-old.
But she's great, so it worked out.
The 2 movies I watched on my wonderful Easter was a double feature of 2 rented films from the Kim's collection at the Alamo Draft House in Lower Manhattan. I know you've checked that out and perused that with me. Oh, yeah. First one was No Country for Old Men, which I had seen before, but Mina, of course, hadn't. And this was an MK300 watch, and you can listen to our episode on that, people, if you really want to get to the deep thoughts of what we were feeling with that one. But 4 stars. I'm a There Will Be Blood over No Country for Old Men kind of guy. Yeah. But it's still a phenomenal movie.
I agree. I think I have it at 4 stars as well. It's definitely very, very good, but I don't know if it's, up there with my all-time faves. Just the, scary ass performance from Javier Bardem, I think puts it in that category. But interesting Easter flick. Yeah, I mean, a little bit of thriller, horror, getting you a little nervous on Easter, getting you anxious.
It definitely gives a little anxious feeling. It's like someone chasing you, following you around. You gotta watch when you're walking the streets. That's the beauty of the film, though. Woody Harrelson, great fun appearance in this movie.
He's barely in it.
I know, but he's fun when he shows up. I love a Woody cameo, and then I don't love the way it kind of switches perspective a little bit in the last act. Fair. Not to spoil too much.
I feel like Tommy Lee Jones' side of it, I think that's writing wise, it's important because he's a big part of the metaphors and stuff. But I feel like that's the weakest part to me. I think the Brolin stuff is awesome. That might be honestly one of my favorite Brolin performances, other than maybe Sicario. But I think he's just the first half hour. I think it's really, really good, especially when we get the intro and then of course the coin flip scene, which is iconic and intense. But yeah, I think that's a really good flick and one of my favorite from the Coens for sure.
It's a good movie, and Mina had never seen it before, so we got to watch that. And then the other thing that we rented and brought home was The Last Temptation of Christ, the Martin Scorsese feature, and that felt very apt to watch on Easter. And I did enjoy that as well. Willem Dafoe playing Jesus. That is a fun twist. It's a movie that was, protested and banned in some places because the Catholic Church really wanted to reel against it, but I think it's a really interesting examination of Jesus Christ as if he was a real person, and it's a twist on the story, and I can see why big believers would have issues with that, but I think it's a fun early work from Scorsese. I'm interested to see he's apparently going to make another Jesus movie down the line. So his religious films are a lot to him. And here was my review. David Bowie is Pontius Pilate? Exclamation point, question mark. Happy Easter.
Is David Bowie in it? That's pretty awesome.
David Bowie plays Pontius Pilate in the film.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I feel like for Easter, yeah, that is a really fun pick.
Harvey Keitel plays Judas, Cody.
Really? Okay. Honestly, the more and more we talk about this movie, I want to see it. I actually didn't even know that Scorsese directed it. So that's pretty cool. And I need to go on a little Willem binge because he's just in so much random crap. But yeah, that is really fun. I think for Easter, and that's funny too because of course Deadpool it passed The Last Temptation of Christ for the highest rated R-rated movie of the time. So little connection there.
No. That was The Passion of the Christ, Cody. You're mixing. That's the
Mel Gibson
movie.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I was gonna say like that movie couldn't have made that much. But I still don't want to see that. Willem as Jesus? Man, that sounds interesting.
Watch The Last Temptation of Christ, which came out in 1988. Do not watch The Passion of the Christ, which came out in 2004.
What's the difference, really? I mean, it's one word in the title. It's pretty close. Come on.
Passion is a deep, accurate telling. And hey, next year, 2025, April 18th, 2025, The Passion of the Christ Resurrection, directed by Mel Gibson, is coming out.
Oh, wow.
Watch out.
I didn't know that.
It all comes full circle.
That's actually kind of scary.
What I watched on my birthday, Cody, May 16th. Let's hit that next. I watched nothing. Oh, first day. I decided to take my birthday off.
Took a day off.
And you know what really happened is I worked all day on my birthday. And I think Mina also had like a work event in the evening. So I was grinding all day, and then I came home and I just slept. I think, did we record a pod maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
Oh, you know what? I think I did record a podcast. I can shout out to the Rough Cut Retrospective. We recorded our Planet of the Apes conversation on my birthday. So yeah, I worked, I think, like 9 to 5 or 10 to 6, and then recorded that and didn't watch any movies. But what did you watch? Anything?
That was a long recording, though. I mean, a lot of apes to cover.
Oh, dude. And I'll tell you, around it on the 13th, okay, from May 11th to May 15th, I was watching Planet of the Apes exclusively movies, Tim Burton documentaries, Kingdom on the 14th. So it's all there, but you know.
Yeah. Shout out. I watched Kingdom the next day, but on the 16th, I actually watched Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Just because I knew the RCR, they had teased it a bunch, and I hadn't seen most of the original Apes movies. And this one, I think, may be my favorite of the original bunch. Let me check, actually. I think I gave the original Planet of the Apes.
Should we hit a quick, do you have a list? Do you have an apes list? Because I definitely have an apes list.
I don't have an apes list, but they're all pretty much next to each other, so it's not too hard to see. But the third one here, this is the third one, isn't it? Or is it the fourth one? No.
Escape is the third, yeah.
Yeah, it is the third one. Yeah, because the second one's the weird Illuminati crap.
Beneath,
yeah. And then Escape, it's this different story. It's almost like a Star Trek movie, I feel like, because obviously we're just following these two scientists. There's a lot of political discourse.
It's kind of like Star Trek 3, 4, the one with the whales. Like, it's got that vibe.
Yeah, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, which to me, out of the OGs, probably my second favorite after Wrath of Khan. I think really good. So a good comparison there, and I think this is like just a good Star Trek, episode. Like I said, it explores a lot of interesting themes. Of course, you have like the baby, monkey that becomes the big, revolving action at the end, which I think is really interesting. And it just puts these two apes like in the real world of kind of humans, or at least during the 70s, I guess. So I think that's a lot of fun. Maybe the makeup's not the best, but out of the Apes movies, one of my favorites, other than the modern reboot trilogy, obviously. I think this, like I said, I think this is my favorite ape movie of the OGs, and I gave it 3.5 stars. And my review was, it was talking about Star Trek. It was Khan Multivan. He always elevates a good Star Trek movie because Ricardo is in this flick.
He's in it, and he plays a pretty pivotal role. He's not in it much, but he's an important character for sure.
I did rate the first Planet of the Apes 3.5 too, but if I made a list, maybe I should. I think I haven't seen Conquest, so I need to watch that. But it would be number 4 after the modern trilogy for sure. Maybe it's better. I think it is better than Rise, actually. I'll put it in a 3 slot.
It is 7 out of 10 on my fully aped out list.
But still good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a 3.5 star movie for me. I really like them all, other than,
as long as it's better than Burns.
Yes, the Planet of the Apes 2001 Tim Burton is the worst one for sure.
Half star or something a little higher?
I believe it is 1.5, 2 stars,
Oh,
2 stars.
2 stars. Wow.
But,
You like the ending?
it's some fun makeup. Helena Bonham Carter kind of scares me, but
He's good.
I don't like the ending because the ending
Tim
confused
Roth.
me. I misunderstood the ending.
Tim Roth is good too. Abe Lincoln, come on, man.
I do like Abe Lincoln, but he's not really like that. I went there and he wasn't like that. It kind of broke my heart. I felt like I was lied to.
Tough.
Let's finish up with one random date. Let's do a little random number generator. And the month is 9.
Is that September?
And then we'll hit 1 to 31 and we'll hit 10, September 10th.
Oh wow. I know what you were watching already. Probably 3 9/11 movies.
I just for the record, I did not do my 9/11 watch around 9/11. I didn't
okay.
that on
I thought you did, but fair enough.
I
actually have 3 movies I watched on September 10th. So my first watch, because the day before
I did, for the record, I did my 9/11 watch around the 4th of July.
Okay.
Just
that
not
makes
on
sense.
the 4th of July.
Makes sense. Thank you for
continue.
So the day before here, 9/9, I watched the first Cheaper by the Dozen, which is a Sean Levy classic. But I actually really, I rated them the same altogether, but I do like the second one more. And it is probably the movie, and this is my rating too, but this is probably the most watched movie that I have ever watched in my life. Or at least rewatched, I guess is the right way to say it. Cheaper by a Dozen too. Takes the first one. I mean, you got Steve Martin, I think, in his prime form here. And then the thing that really elevates it from the first one is they're on vacation at a lake house, and Eugene Levy has a rival family with just as many kids as he does. So it kind of has a really fun just back and forth between Steve Martin and Eugene Levy. I feel like that's where Steve Martin is at his best, when he can kind of go back and forth with somebody else who can match his, energy and charisma. So I really love it, even though it's not very good. And then, well, do you want to go back and forth, or should I just go through my list?
I actually watched nothing on September 10th.
Oh, wow. Slacking.
I was this is a busy time at work. We were entering the end of the season, so I was definitely keeping busy. I did watch on September 9th, just real fast, In Time, the Justin Timberlake flick. Amanda Seyfried. Not a great movie.
I thought you liked that.
No, I don't. Yeah,
really 2.5 stars is way too high for that.
It's very watchable, but it is not good. And then I did another 2.5 star watch on September 12th, Waterworld, which is just a fucking insane movie.
Oh wow.
If you've never seen it, he's out on the water, man. It's like Mad Max on the water. He has gills.
One of the biggest bombs ever too. Tough stuff.
He has gills, Kody.
Hey man.
He can breathe underwater.
It's Waterworld. You gotta have them.
Great attraction though. If you go to a theme park, like they do, the Waterworld show is still like a big thing. So
love
that exists. But what else did you watch on September 10th? What were your other watches, Kody?
Yeah, so I had to start it off fun with Cheaper by a Dozen 2, which I did rate 2.5 stars as well. Similar to your movies. And then my second watch was, I was talking about Christopher Nolan earlier. I watched Memento. His one of his first flicks, obviously, made in 2000. And obviously really, really interesting just construct of a movie, where, I guess, spoiler alert, I'm sure everybody's aware of this, but obviously it plays backwards in a sense, scene to scene. This character of Guy Pearce he can't retain short-term memories. So every time the scene resets, he loses all kind of, concept of what's going on. And you're trying to figure out along the way, because obviously it's kind of backwards, which is really mind-bending stuff. So I think really good for Nolan. I think this was the second time I'd seen this. I believe the first time I watched it was actually with you. So a good recommendation there. But Nolan-wise, I mean, I have my favorites with him. You got The Prestige. You got Inception. You got The Dark Knight. I mean,
why Memento at this point? What drew you to this flick?
Well, basically, I mean, because this was mid-September, right? Yeah, so I was making my Letterboxd list of Nolan ranked, and I hadn't seen this movie for a while. I mean, I think when we watched it, maybe I was, a sophomore or junior. It was actually junior or senior.
I mean, it's the only Nolan movie I have not logged on Letterboxd, even though I have seen it a few times. Wow. I think you probably were. I think it was probably my sophomore year.
Yeah, I think that's right. But I did really like it, especially on a second watch, because I feel like on the first watch, maybe I didn't even understand everything that was going on. But
you were a hater, I remember.
Well, the thing is, because with Nolan, you always have such high expectations. So with this, I mean, it's not The Prestige. It's not kind of as out there or fun as that. It's not The Dark Knight. It's not a big action comic book movie. It's a slow thinker, and it takes a little bit to get through. But I think once you get to that ending and you kind of understand the full scope of that, it is really, really effective. And I remember too, originally I rated it 3.5 stars, and then a couple days went by, and I was just like, I couldn't stop thinking about like the construction and it's just like one of the most creative things I think I've ever seen in a movie. So not my favorite by Nolan by a long stand, but still just really impressive, from a technical standpoint. And I guess more, I mean, I would guess that it did not win best editing, but it definitely deserved it, to say the least.
It is definitely a movie that I feel deserves a second examination, a third examination. Like you have to kind of re-watch it to appreciate the structure. I rewatched Interstellar. It got the 10-year re-release thing. Nolan's always trying to craft and pump in some big idea, and this movie's got a dead wife in its own right, and it's very complicated, but I enjoy it.
He does the dead wife well.
This is a big year for Guy Pearce too.
True. Brutalist.
Get him the Oscar nom.
I'm excited for that. But also, and then the last movie that I watched that day, another really fun one, was a Shiva Baby. I really love Shiva Baby. Directed by Emma Seligman, who of course did Bottoms, then of course stars the awesome Rachel Sennett, Molly Gordon in a really good supporting role too, but
and that girl from Glee too.
True. I mean, it's a good cast, but I think for me, this is, and I rated this one 4.5 stars, so I am very, very high in this flick. I think for me, it's kind of like a perfect movie, just because it is really short, which I really enjoy. I'm a big proponent of short movies, especially if you don't have anything extra to say after your runtime. But also at the same time, it is just such character focused on this character, and it's just like so much intensity and stress, just all in one little day. Like it's not even that long of a movie either. It's only a few hours, but the pacing is so good, I think, where it keeps just stacking things on top, on top, on top. At the end, maybe it can kind of lose people, I guess, if it gets like too cringe, but it's kind of just like her breaking down, and you kind of understand, what she's going through mentally. And it's just a lot. So I think it's a really good flick. I feel like the easy comparison is like Uncut Gems. It kind of has that vibes, which it is overplayed a lot.
Yeah, it's like Uncut Gems for bisexual people, which is great. I like it better than Uncut Gems for sure.
It's close. I really like both those movies, so I can't even really argue that. But I think that's an overplayed thing too. Of every like stressful movie that comes out now is, it's like Uncut Gems, Inside Out.
It's just anxiety.
Anora. I'm sure we'll have 3 more next year. So maybe I should stop saying that. But Shiva Baby is awesome. I believe it's coming to Netflix very, very soon as well. So it'll get a lot of recognition through there, I'm sure. But Rachel Sennett's cooking. I mean, she's got her own HBO series going. She's got a ton of stuff in the works. Also, Molly Gordon is awesome too. Shout out Theater Camp. But just a couple of my, more favorite, up and coming stars, actress wise. So very, very high. That's probably the movie that we'll talk about on this episode that I recommend the most.
Definitely a fun one. I really enjoy it. Let's do one more date, and we'll wrap up here. So first number is gonna be, I was still in the 1 to 31, so it's 3. The day is gonna be 3. Let's see what month it is. And now we're gonna do month number 4. So 4-3. We did it backwards that time, Kody.
Going to April.
So April 3rd. What did you watch on April 3rd?
Okay. So on April 3rd for myself, I watched another 4-star movie. We're talking about a lot of good movies, which I love. I watched How to Train Your Dragon, the first one, which is kind of relevant as well. Obviously, the live action trailer has come out here recently. Just kind of malarkey. Not sure why they have to make everything live action, especially when it's going to be likely pretty much a shot-for-shot remake. But anyways, this first one I think is really good. Maybe I think I like the second one better. I think I probably do. But the music in the first one I think is unmatched. I even have the song in my head right now where they're flying on the dragon. Do 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 do. Bah, bah, bah. I mean, dude, just like the orchestra with that is iconic. And for this one, maybe the animation doesn't stand up the best either. I think that's maybe why I would lean towards the second one. I liking it a little bit more, but still a really fun character, really fun cast. You got Jonah Hill in like a supporting, annoying friend role, which I really love. And Gerard Butler is perfect casting, even though they are bringing him back for the live action.
Really? Yeah. They
Which
must
is
have really
annoying.
believed that over at DreamWorks.
Evidently. And yeah, overall, I mean, DreamWorks probably in the top 10, top 5 for me pretty easily. Not elite of the elite, but I mean, obviously with how much it spawned, I think that's pretty telling of how solid this is for an animated flick.
I don't think I've honestly revisited it since I saw it when it first came out, which I did see
Really?
when it came out. But I need to rewatch it because I did enjoy it a lot. And I think it'll probably be a big hit, the live action.
Oh yeah. I mean, Mason Thames, Gerard
Where's
Butler.
that on the most anticipated list?
I bet that's no. I would think that'll go pretty early in our draft. That's probably a second or a third rounder, I would think.
Oh yeah, I think it's definitely if it's like a top 30 pick for sure.
It's hard to tell because I take stupid stuff early, but
Right.
yeah, I'm not excited for that either, so I won't take it. But I'm sure somebody will.
I didn't watch anything on April 3rd. Hate to burst the bubble again, but April 1st, April Fools, I
Actually,
watched
shocking.
Terminator Dark Fate. And I
Is that
did a big
the,
Terminator series binge. This is the
Sarah Connor
2019 one. So yes, they bring back Sarah Connor, the
Okay.
most recent Terminator.
Mm.
This was at the end of my Terminator binge, of course, because it is the last one. And I actually think this one's pretty good. I like what they do with the older Sarah Connor and kind of the older Arnold Schwarzenegger. I really hate the one they do right before this, which is Genesis.
Genesis.
Genesis is a 1-star movie. That movie is fucking awful. They bring in Emilia Clarke. It's like a bad shot for shot remake of the first Terminator.
Yeah.
And I don't even really like the first Terminator that much. So it's like if you're gonna redo it for like the 5th time, it's not good.
And it's got Jai Courtney. I mean, come on. What else do you want?
It's not fun. Terminator Salvation, low key, not bad. People will tell you it's bad. It's okay. So you're shaking your head, but I mean, it is mid. I would describe it.
Isn't it Mick Jagger or
Mick G? Cody. Get your shit fucking together.
Mick G's an idiot.
But fucking Sam Worthington. What a great actor, dude. 2009 was gonna be his year.
He was gonna be the next big thing. So, I mean, it was a good career move in at the time, but didn't really work out.
Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines is bad.
I think don't you like Dark Fate more than T2? Isn't that a thing?
Let me pull up the official list. So
From what I recall,
I think
it was much closer than it should have been. Because T2, I mean, check out our episode on that, but that is a bona fide classic. I think also too, didn't they bring back Robert Patrick in some form? I can't remember. There was something weird with Dark Fate where there was like a couple cameos that were out of the blue that I kind of liked.
Just so you're not slandering my name, here's my ranking. Terminator 2 is number 1. The Terminator is number 2. Terminator Dark Fate is number 3.
Okay.
All just 3.5 stars, though. I think they're all.
Yeah. That's what it was.
And then Salvation at 3 stars. Terminator 3 Rise of the 2.5 stars. And then finally Genesis 1 star. Which is really bad. And
yeah, I mean, that's the thing with the Terminator franchise. I mean, it doesn't matter, I guess. Like people have their specific ones they like, but there's always specific ones that people really, really dislike too. And for me, unfortunately, that's pretty much half the franchise. But T2 is awesome. Yeah, go check our episode, like I said. But I mean, action movie wise, Schwarzenegger wise, I mean that's the cream of the crop by far. Shout out to what's the little shit's name? God damn it, bro! I can't pull anything good.
John Connor, Eddie Furlong.
Yeah, shout out Eddie Furlong, man. Underrated actor. God, he should have been a big star too. Him and Sam Worthington both.
Yeah, sure. I don't know about all that, but this has been a fun conversation. It's been nice to look back at 2024. And we'll dive deeper with some of our favorites at a later date for sure.
I got to catch up on some Oscar bait.
You got a lot of catching up to do, Kody. God,
I'm not too worried.
Behind big time this year.
I just got to watch the best. I like to wait a little bit for the best pictures to get.
You want to let the dust settle. I respect
nommed.
it. Of the 10, how many have you seen?
I mean, right now, I probably have seen like one or two. I would think I'll try to watch them all. I mean, I would think at least 8 or 9.
You've got 3 months, so you're fine.
But... Oh, we got tons of time. But I mean, Gladiator Part 2, that's going to get nommed for sure. Dune Part 2. I mean, if that doesn't get nommed, what are we doing? But
I've said it already. Gladiator, I'm not confident in, but Wicked, you still got to watch. Conclave, you got to check out. Honora, you got to check out.
I'm excited to watch both those. Like Conclave.
Amelia Perez is on Netflix now.
I don't think it's going to get nommed though, so we'll see.
It's definitely getting that. It's got 11 Golden Globe nominations.
Honestly, I probably won't watch that one. But I just don't like watching movies I know are bad. I don't know.
And yet, we still do it. Thank you guys for listening. And I'm sure we'll do another one of these, kind of letterbox. It'd be fun to do one of these with a guest, kind of just, what are we watching?
I think this is a fun format, and we'll definitely have to revisit it. Love that.
All right. Peace. Thanks for watching. Capping. Happy New Year. Happy holidays, everyone. And we'll catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Yeah.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.